So, as you may or may have not heard, a 9-year-old girl was recently pepper sprayed by police officers. I'm going to try to play the video for you. I must warn you in advance, it's pretty gruesome. So, watch it if you like. If not, just skip ahead and then I'll get into my commentary.
Come on. I'm going to pepper spray you and I don't want to. So sit back. Then sit back. Come on. This is your last chance, otherwise pepper spray's going in your eyeballs. Come on, let's go.
Sorry, you keep me safe for a minute.
Come on. I want my dad. Come on. I'm gonna go get him. Now sit back. Come on. I will fix it. I will fix it.
Dear, why just stop for a second and take a deep breath. Hey, just stop.
Please. I will get your dad.
No, you said that you were gonna pepper spray me. No, please, no, stop.
Sit back.
Oh, I got a bad one.
Just spray her.
No, I have
Just spray her at this point.
Stop.
Dear.
Stop.
I got her. I got her.
Please, wipe my eye. Wipe my eye, please.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so this event occurred in Rochester, New York. And so basically, they were responding to a call of a child that was experiencing a mental health crisis, I presume. And I'll just read to you here a piece of the article. It says, officers were called to a home on the afternoon of January 29th for a report of family trouble. The officers were told the girl was suicidal and that she had indicated that she wanted to kill herself and she wanted to kill her mom. Once again, the girl is 9 years old. Afterwards, they said her mother arrived and the body camera showed the two arguing, and then the officers decided to remove the child from the situation and transport her to an area hospital. But the girl refused to get inside a police vehicle. She thrashed around and kicked an officer, knocking his body camera around. Once again, she's 9 years old. It says it didn't appear as if she was resisting the officer. She was trying not to be restrained to go to the hospital. As the officers made numerous attempts to get her in the car, and the officer sprayed the young child with OC spray to get her in the car. So she didn't want to get in the car. The body camera shows the girl repeatedly crying out for her father while being physically restrained by the officers. She is seen screaming before her head is held down against the snow-covered ground and is handcuffed. A struggle ensues between the girl and the officers as they try to attempt to get her inside the back of a police vehicle. At one point, one officer says, "You are acting like a child." The girl responds, "I am a child." Later in the video, a female officer is seen talking to the girl, eventually saying, "This is your last chance, otherwise pepper spray is going in your eyeballs." She's telling a 9-year-old child this. About a minute later, another officer can be heard saying, "Just spray her at this point." The female officer is seen shaking a can that appears to be pepper spray, and the child continues to scream. The officers involved in the incident have not been identified by police, nor the child or her mother. I also want to say something. I also want to read to you what the police chief said. She says, "I have a 10-year-old daughter, so she's a child and a baby, and I can tell you that this video as a mother is not anything that you want to see." And she said that this shouldn't happen, and of course, compassion and empathy and all that. Let's get into this. So, first of all, I hate how after anything like this ever happens, an unarmed black person or just person in general, get shot and killed by the police, or a person suffers injuries or is beaten by police. Anytime any kind of police brutality or police wrongdoings is done to an individual, the police chief or mayor or residing governor they always come out and say like, "Oh, we condemn this and this isn't good and it shouldn't continue to happen and it has to stop." But it never does. It never ceases. It keeps happening. I mean, things like this are going to keep. These are normal occurrences now. This isn't rare. I wasn't surprised when I read this story. I was completely saddened and angry, but I wasn't surprised. They always say that this needs to stop, but nobody introduces legislation to actually stop this. This can't stop by just saying that it needs to stop. We need it like quick, radical legislation that can put an end to these things. Last year, and this is every year, people should always feel this way. But last year was basically like the year of Black Lives Matter with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Jacob Blake, among others, and the huge protests and some riots that were happening. And we didn't get a single piece of radical legislation that would fundamentally change the way we police in this country. Didn't get a single piece of legislation over the entire year of Black Lives Matter. Nothing. Not a thing. Nada. Nobody even really proposed anything, to my knowledge. Maybe you can correct me on that, but I didn't see anything happening. I just saw a bunch of corporate Democrats taking a knee, with like African clothing on or something, a bunch of kabuki theater. That's what I saw. I saw a bunch of protests that were good in spirit, but they weren't demanding anything. They didn't have any specific demands. They just said Black Lives Matter. Yeah, they matter, but what? What do we need to do? And let's get into what happened here. So this is a 9-year-old girl that is being subjected to treatment that she should never be subjected to. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a college student. I'm a senior in college currently. And, I am by no means an expert on this stuff. But I have taken classes like psychology, physiology, human anatomy, and I would say that it's safe to say that I've studied the human brain quite extensively. And I would say that I am well educated on the human brain and emotions and the human mind and how we operate as people. And let me just tell you, when a person is experiencing distraught or distress, if a person is unraveled and they're acting out in a way that they wouldn't normally do under a typical circumstance, a way to get them to settle down and come to their senses isn't to strong arm them and try and make them do it by force. That's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. Human beings, in case you didn't know, let me inform you, human beings are very complex individuals. We are very complex individuals. The human brain, it's the most misunderstood thing in the entire universe. That's a fact. Even the greatest of scientists today don't entirely understand the human brain and how it works. We're learning more and more each day, and we still don't know enough. Okay? So who are you to just go, you do this while somebody is experiencing turmoil and expect them to just fall in line and do it? No, human beings are fragile. Human beings are sensitive. Sometimes they need to be coddled. Sometimes they need to be told, it's okay, relax, we're trying to help you. No, it's just get the fuck in the car or we'll pepper spray you. That's it. That's it. When all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. That's it. That's all that they know. They're running around with hammers, and every individual, even a 9-year-old girl, looks like a nail to them. This isn't how you handle people, guys. It isn't. Okay? When you treat people like this, when they're experiencing distress, you just make it even worse and they turn away from you. That's not how you get them to come to you and calm down and relax. That's just not how you do it. Okay? And we need radical change to our police system and how we police in this country, or else things like this are going to continue to be normal occurrences. I hate to say it, but it is. Okay? So what I want to do to end this video is read to you Campaign Zero's police reform. I think that these are the perfect things that we need to really change the way policing is done in this country. So I want to read these are 10 things. The first one is in broken windows policing. The second one is community oversight of the police. The third is limit use of force. That would have really helped out here. The fourth one is independently investigate and prosecute the police. The fourth one is community representation. The fifth one, or that was the fifth one. The sixth one is body cams at all times. Never take off your body camera. The seventh one is training. Train them more on de-escalation tactics and how to deal with people. The eighth one is in for-profit policing. The ninth one is demilitarization of the police. And the 10th one is fair police union contracts. Now, this one isn't here, but I'll say it because this one probably matters the most. End the drug war. Legalize, tax, and regulate all drugs. That's my position. But the first, what you should do, if this is the only thing you can do at this point in time, is legalize, tax, and regulate marijuana. Okay? We have to end the drug war. So that's Campaign Zero's reform. That's what I think should happen. I really hope that we see change soon and these types of occurrences don't persist, because when you look at other countries, we are really unique in how we police in our relationship with our police here in this country. And there's no reason why this should be the problem that it is.